Starting with Zendaya. She plays Rue, a girl falling apart at the seams in almost every episode. But Zendaya's actual life looks nothing like that. She has been in a relationship with Tom Holland since the two of them met on the set of Spider-Man Homecoming back in 2016. At the time, nobody knew anything was happening. They kept it completely quiet for years. It was not until 2021 that the two of them were photographed together in a way that made it impossible to deny, and at that point, the internet basically stopped functioning for a day. They were immediately one of the most talked about couples in Hollywood. What made people respond to them the way they did was partly the story behind it. They had clearly been protecting this thing quietly for a long time. Tom has talked about it directly. He said their relationship was something they were incredibly protective of, something they wanted to keep as sacred as possible.
My relationship is the thing that I keep most sacred. I don't talk about it. I try my best to keep it as private as possible. We both feel very strongly that that is the healthiest way for us to move on as a couple.
That kind of intentionality tends to read very clearly on people, and it did on them. By 2024, reports surfaced that the two had gotten engaged. Then, in 2025, at the Golden Globes, fans noticed what looked like a wedding band on Zendaya's finger. Zendaya's stylist made comments suggesting the two had secretly gotten married. Neither of them has confirmed it. As of now, they have not said anything publicly about a wedding, which is very on brand for the two of them. Whether or not they are already married, it is clear this is a relationship that has lasted, grown, and been handled with more care than most celebrity couples manage. Moving on to Sydney Sweeney. Sydney's situation has been one of the more eventful relationship stories from this cast, and it went through a few phases in a pretty short amount of time. For years, she was with Jonathan Davino, a businessman and restaurant industry figure. The two had been together for about 7 years. They got engaged in late 2022. For most of that time, Sydney kept the whole thing completely private. She was open about why. She said she did not date people in the spotlight because it let her just be normal. No red carpet appearances with him, no constant social media presence, just a private relationship that she clearly valued exactly because of how separate it was from her career. Then, in early 2025, the engagement ended. Reports came out in March that the two had split after 7 years together. Sydney was direct about it. She said she was in the middle of a magical career she could only have dreamed of, and her relationship had started to feel overwhelming rather than supportive. She said she was focused on herself and her work. A few months later, she told a magazine she was single and loving it. What happened next is where things got interesting. Sydney was spotted at Jeff Bezos' wedding in Italy in the summer of 2025, and there she was seen with Scooter Braun, the music executive. The two started appearing together more and more, and by the end of 2025, sources were describing the relationship as serious. By the time Euphoria Season 3 premiered in April 2026, they showed up to the premiere together and went Instagram official. It was a pairing that caught a lot of people off guard, partly because it was so fast after a 7-year relationship, and partly because of the age gap between them. Sydney had literally said just a few years earlier that she did not date people in the entertainment industry. There are questions about how stable this new relationship is, but for now, they are together and public. Now to Hunter Schafer. Hunter plays Jules, Rue's love interest, and one of the most emotionally complex characters on the show. In real life, Hunter's relationship history is much simpler to describe, though it still had its moment in the spotlight. During filming for Season 2, she and Dominic Fike, who also joined the cast, started spending time together. By early 2022, they made it official at the Vanity Fair Oscar after party. It was a big public moment for both of them. They were together for about a year and a half before splitting in mid-2023. Hunter has spoken about it carefully and with a lot of respect. She said it was a really beautiful relationship that opened her up in ways she was grateful for.
That breakup, it was a mutually agreed upon, and it's one of the cleaner breakups I've had, of like, we both recognize that this is not working and we can't do this. We gotta go our own separate ways. And it was so hard because we really loved each other, you know, and he's a really special person and I love his soul and everything.
Since the split, she has not been linked to anyone publicly. As of now, Hunter is single. Then there is Jacob Elordi. Jacob plays Nate, one of the most hated characters on television. A manipulative, volatile person who spends most of the show making everyone around him miserable. In real life, Jacob is extremely private. He was briefly linked to Zendaya early in their time on the show together, after the two were spotted on a trip to Greece. Nothing was ever confirmed, and both of them let that story die quietly. After that, he started dating Kaya Gerber in September 2020. They were together for just over a year before the split in late 2021. Within a month of that, he was spotted with Olivia Jade Giannoli, the influencer and daughter of actress Lori Loughlin. That relationship went on and off for 4 years. Reports said they had called it off for good in October 2024. Then, in early 2026, Olivia showed up at a screening for Jacob's film Frankenstein, and the speculation started all over again. As of now, the situation is unclear. Alexa Demie plays Maddie, easily one of the boldest, most confident characters on the show. And in a very funny contrast to her character, Alexa has managed to keep her personal life almost completely hidden from the public. She has been linked for years to a musician named Christian Barishaj. Reports suggest they have been together since around 2017, which would make this a very long-term relationship by any measure. But neither of them has ever publicly confirmed it in any real detail. No red carpet appearances, no social media posts that confirm anything. Just consistent, quiet rumors and a total absence of drama. Then there is Maude Apatow. Maude plays Lexi, and she is also the daughter of filmmaker Judd Apatow, which means she grew up knowing exactly how much scrutiny can come with being in the public eye. Her current relationship is with Irish actor Patrick Gibson. The two confirmed their romance in 2024 when Patrick posted a photo of the two of them together. Since then, they have appeared at events together and kept things relatively low-key. A quiet, stable relationship without a lot of outside drama. Then there is Barbie Ferreira. Barbie played Kat, and she left the show after season 2. She has identified as queer for a while, coming out in an interview in 2019. And that same year, she started dating Elle Puckett, a musician and guitarist who has toured with Lorde and Maggie Rogers. The two kept things relatively quiet on social media, but they did not hide the relationship either. In 2020, Elle posted a photo of the two of them with the caption, "True Love's Kiss." In 2022, they got matching tattoos together, a bleeding heart design. That is the kind of gesture that signals something serious. The two split sometime in 2022. The same year, Barbie announced her departure from the show. A lot of change in a short period. Since then, Barbie has kept her personal life much more private. No new relationship has been publicly confirmed. And then there is Colman Domingo. Colman plays Ali, Rue's sponsor, and one of the most grounding presences on the entire show. He is also one of the most respected actors working right now. 2 back-to-back Oscar nominations in consecutive years. Emmy winner, a career that has been building for decades. His personal life is one of the best love stories attached to anyone in this cast, and it starts at a Walgreens in Berkeley in 2005. Colman was in town for a theater production, went in to get a face mask, and on the way out, locked eyes with a man named Raul. Nothing happened in that moment, but Colman could not stop thinking about it. He told himself to go back to the same Walgreens at the same time the following week, on the off chance the man would be there again. Before he could even try, he turned to Craigslist Missed Connections, something people used before apps existed for exactly this kind of thing. He found a post that started, "Saw you outside of Walgreens in Berkeley." Raul had written it just 2 hours after the encounter. Colman said he jumped out of his chair when he found it.
And I literally jumped up out of my chair and said, "Oh my God, that's him. That's him." And I clicked on like I was scared. Like I reached out my long finger and clicked on it. And I read the whole caption. It said, "I'm sorry. I hope this finds you. My friend and I were lost looking for a party. You were wearing this. You had a faux hawk." That was me. I found out later that he just posted that 1 hour before. He tried 3 different times and it finally went through, and I found it.
They went on a date in San Francisco a few days later. They have been together ever since. In 2014, they invited 25 of their closest friends to what they told everyone was a house party. When the guests arrived, Colman and Raul greeted them by saying, "Welcome to our wedding." A surprise wedding for everyone except the 2 people who planned it, on their own terms, in their own way, without performing any of it for an audience they did not choose. One cast member cannot be discussed the same way as everyone else, and that is Angus Cloud. Angus played Fezco, and he passed away on July 31st, 2023, at just 25 years old. He never publicly confirmed a relationship, but a woman named Sydney Martin, who had a small role on the show, posted a tribute after his death that made it clear the two had shared something real. She wrote that her heart was broken and that she loved him forever. Whatever their relationship was officially, it clearly mattered. His family asked that the world remember him for his humor, his laughter, and his love for everyone around him.